Now this is a cool Jeep. This is my favorite Jeep from the 2025 Moab Easter Jeep Safari. Dad, what are we looking at?
We're looking at the Convoy, dude.
That's right. So this is a concept that they put together to showcase, to kind of flex their muscles on what the Jeep designers can do. And this started life out as a Gladiator, but it's no Gladiator anymore.
Well, it started out life as a Mojave, Tommy, but they made it a little bit more, dare I say, military? Would that be the right word?
Yeah, so the biggest change, the coolest part of the Convoy is the front end. So this has the slant back front end that you would find on the J Series trucks from 1963 through 1988, as well as like the M715 military vehicles. But this is such an iconic look, and I love this modern twist. Come on in here, Dad. What they did is they replaced the standard round headlights with these Baja design light pods, which I'm almost 100% sure the DOT would have some comments about, but it gives it such an almost movie-like look.
Yeah, you know, I'm not usually a big fan of these, dare I say, insect-like, you know, lights where you've got these multiple pods, but in this case, I actually think it works. Usually to me, that just screams like I bought an old Jeep and I wanted to update it, so I got myself some brand new LEDs and it looks cheap, but here it looks stunning, especially the yellow with that kind of light gray / blue color combination.
Now these front ends have been really popular with the Jeep team in recent years. They've done a lot of these conversions, and I think that at this point they should probably just put it into production because people universally love that slanted front end. And then this is cool too because some of them have like the Razor style grills. This one has an actual 7-slot design here, which looks really cool. And check this out, look at the hood pins. So rather than standard plastic Gladiator or Wrangler hood pins, we have the metal poles. Let's go ahead and put one down like that. We're going to put this one down here as well. And then let's see what this hood is made out of.
It's way back. You got to reach way there.
There it is. Thank you.
You bet. And of course, it's the venerable, dare I say, durable Pentastar.
What I like though is Jeep put a lot of work into, usually concepts for most manufacturers are held together with sticks and bits of bubble gum, but look at like some of the design elements here. So this is a snorkel, and look how nicely that snorkel actually tucks in up against the hood line.
You know what I like about the snorkel here? You don't have to cut anything, right? Usually if you put a snorkel in, you got to cut a big hole in the side of the vehicle. Here,
that's a great point.
It's integrated without any, because I hate cutting into vehicles. It just, because let's face it, Tommy, I am not the most patient person in the world. And if I had to cut a hole right there, that hole would not be square or round. It would be weird.
Well, it's also really elegant in how that's done. I wonder, we should see where it actually picks the air up from. I mean, where it delivers the air to. It goes right into the air box.
Yeah, I guess there is a little hole right there, right?
Sure, you have to put one in the cowl there, but that's a really nice, elegant design.
I also like these big old BFG mud terrains. This time, unlike the Hansho J6 concept with the white lettering in, I think that's good. I think that's more utilitarian, that's more military.
Yep, so we've got, I think it's a 17-inch wheel, yep, 39 by 17. And then one of the kind of the iconic looks that Jeep is going for with these concepts is usually to put huge tires, you got to lift the Jeeps way up and make them look kind of tall and weird. But this has got that low squat look, and they're able to achieve that with these high clearance fenders.
What do you think of the canvas doors and roof? I think that's what makes this Jeep, along with the brown seats, right? This is what makes it kind of military. And then this color, like this is supposed to be a high res color that they use in airplanes, I guess.
Interesting.
That's what it said in the press release, at least. But that is quite the color combination, brown and what would you call that?
Looks like a teal.
Yeah, brown and bright teal.
You wouldn't think that would work good against this kind of flat gray, but it does. And then we have this distressed, aged leather look for the seats. And then to kind of bring in some of that retro-inspired design, they actually, hi there, they are low back bucket seats. So you might notice that they don't have the headrests in them anymore, but they're still power adjustable. So kind of an interesting mix of old and new.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that you've got like, you know, raw, unfinished metal right there.
Yeah, they got the bed liner.
Yeah, which is very much utilitarian, which speaks to the fact that this is a military concept. There's something else that speaks to the fact that it's a military concept. Tommy, should I show them?
What do you got there?
I'm not talking about the case. I'm talking about
That's pretty cool. You got a little bottle opener there.
The bullet bottle opener.
And then this is a really interesting top. So it almost looks like a partial soft topper. So you can see they got this brown canvas roof, and then they incorporate that with this brown canvas partial topper. And all it needs is some zip-in windows here, and you got yourself a really interesting design. And this also gives it a standout look. And then what do you think of the tail lights? They got the little mesh grates on them.
I do. And I have a question for all of you military types. Does this mean anything?
Oh, I'm sure it's a code.
R35P /3 point or dot CT. What does that mean?
Someone will let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that.
The Jeep guys, I'm sure they put some kind of code in there. And then look at this too. This is a nice little touch too. We got little LEDs incorporated in there, and then your red tow hooks. So this starts out as a, you mentioned this at the beginning, Dad, but this starts out life as a Gladiator Mojave. So it's got the rear locker only, but it does have the upgraded suspension, although they've kind of messed with that a little bit. And then up front here,
I do know what this means. Fuel.
fuel, that we got. And then look at this, check that out down there. It's got the full jounce bumpers as well. So when you're really off in the rough stuff. So really good looking Jeep. What do you say, Dad? You want to get it out on the trail?
I think we should close these first.
I think that's right. You want to get it out on the trail and see what it drives like?
Yeah, can I drive this time?
Yeah, you drive this time.
All right, let's go. All right, Tommy, check this out. Look at these lights, huh? Let me flash the brights. How cool is that?
That is really cool. And what's even cooler is they've got like a little running light down here below that, but they actually took these Baja design lights and then programmed them to operate on low and high beam. Go to high beam one more time. Oh, that is so cool. Wow.
All right, I'm going to take it for a little bit of a spin, Tommy. I got to tell you, these doors are cool, but more looks than function.
I don't know if 40s are going to be enough to get you over the 6-inch ledge, Dad. There you go.
Oh, I thought I was going to roll it, Tommy. Just kidding.
How did people off-road with 29s?
I don't know.
The world will never know.
Remember when we first started coming here, like 30s were the new 29s?
Well, like 33 was a pretty good sized tire.
And now you got to be what, 37, 40s before you get to something that is meaty enough to go off-roading?
But what's really cool about this, hold up, Dad.
Yeah.
What's really cool about this is it's got this kind of almost squat look where it's not lifted very high at all, but then you've got these huge tires. This is such a cool concept too, the rewind concept. We'll have a video on this one here very shortly.
Are you saying it's slam, Tommy?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well, very well.
Are you saying it's slam? It's a slam Jeep?
I'm not saying it's slammed, I'm just saying it's, well, it's as slammed as you can get with 40s, that's for sure.
I feel like we've got the big boss Jeep here compared to some of these other ones.
Yeah, it's because they're only on 35s and you're on 40s, howdy.
Howdy. All right, hop in, dude.
All right, let's do it.
Last year, Tommy, at the Eastern Jeep Safari, Jeep took us out in a bunch of Mojaves, actually, to do a little bit of desert running. And God, these things are capable. And you put, what, these are 40s on there? And it just feels like you can ride or crawl over anything.
There is one thing which is a little weird about these Mojaves, you can see down here. They only have a rear locker. So if you want the ultimate in kind of four-wheel drive capability, the Rubicon is still going to be a little better. But with 40s, it doesn't really matter, does it?
You know, we actually went up Wipeout Hill, which is this pretty steep hill. Even, you know, with only the rear locker, these Jeeps are still fine. I mean, you still have front-wheel drive, you just don't have a front locker.
Now, folks, if you want to come out here and experience the best that Moab has to offer, you got to check out our sponsor for today, OnX Off-road, which is the best off-road navigation software, period. There are thousands of trails marked out at this point with difficulty ratings. You know what to expect. And there is a new cell coverage feature, a cell layer, so you can see when you'll get back in a cell range, which is just awesome. So check out OnX Off-road using the QR code or the link below.
And the best part about that is, Tommy, even without cell service, you'll never be lost.
Yeah, you can download offline maps. So one other thing that I want to point out in this Jeep is there's a lot of cool little details inside here, like the steering wheel. So totally de-chromed, right? Just flat black steering wheel. I like this little GoPro bar.
What do you think? This is usually lives over here. Why is it there?
I don't know.
This that tells you usually centered where the, you know, steering wheel is, but that, I don't know why that's there.
And I think this
a gun sight, maybe?
This looks really good too. You've got the red painted surround on the start button. So all this is really missing. You got your Jeep Design Operations logo. All this is really missing is a V8, a little 6.4 liter action in here, and you got something pretty special. I think, by the way, sorry, Dad, one last thing.
Yeah.
These are TJ mirrors that you'd find on like a 1990s Jeep.
I mean, Tommy, if you're going to do this, just Hellcat it, right? Just supercharge and Hellcat engine this, and then you got yourself something. Remember, they did that a couple of years ago. That was quite the concept.
It was quite the concept, yeah. Yeah, they've done a few Hellcat swaps. Can you slow down just a little?
You bet.
Kind of getting rocked around here with the phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, the low back bucket seats look great. Obviously, for head restraint protection, probably not something that we're going to see in an actual production vehicle. But boy, do they look cool.
And I kind of starting to like this teal interior. I first saw it, I was like, that's just way too much. But now that I'm kind of in it, I kind of love it. I'm kind of digging it, dude.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really an interesting look. And, you know, I would never have thought to put a teal lower dash section, but somehow it works brilliantly.
Well, that's why we're journalists and not influencers or designers.
That's exactly right.
Well, it is crabbing a little bit.
Well, we are in 4 low here.
Yeah.
With that center locked up.
I'm not going to make that turn. All right, guys, if you want to see, why don't you show them the other ones we'll be covering very soon, Tommy?
Yep, we got a whole lot of Jeeps here. Head on over to alltfl.com where we got all the coverage coming. And thank you for Jeep for allowing us to come out here and film, and thanks to OnX for sponsoring this video.
Yeah, we're publishing 1 a day, so come back tomorrow for more Easter Jeep concepts, and we'll see you next time. Ciao.